Angles has a problem. He needs to earn the respect of his peers. So he gets Sega Genesis, the ultimate action system. And then he buys Mortal Kombat, the arcade edition, and the all-new Shinobi 3, and Marvel's X-Men. Now, things are pretty much okay.
I said chocolate chip. Say it. Say it.
For a lot of people, the word Sega instantly sparks nostalgia. The sound of the starting up jingle, Sonic racing through the Green Hill Zone, or spending way too many quarters at the arcade. But Sega's story isn't just about iconic games or beloved consoles. It's a story of bold ideas, internal chaos, massive highs, and some of the most infamous failures in gaming history. Today, we are looking into how Sega rose to the top, nearly collapsed under its own ambition, and somehow managed to survive it in a total different form. Sega's roots go back to the 1940s, long before video games existed. Originally founded as Standard Games, the company supplied coin-operated entertainment machines like jukeboxes and slot machines to U.S. military bases overseas. After World War II, it rebranded as Service Games, which eventually became shortened to Sega. By the 1960s, the company had relocated operations to Japan and began focusing heavily on arcade machines. Sega quickly gained a reputation for producing visually impressive, mechanically complex arcade cabinets that stood out in crowded gaming centers. By the late 1970s, Sega was firmly established as a major name in the arcade industry, perfectly positioned for the video game boom that was about to happen. Sega entered the home console market in the early 1980s with systems like SG-1000 and the Master System. While technically impressive, these consoles struggled to compete with Nintendo's dominance in Japan and North America. However, Sega learned from these early missteps. Instead of competing head-on with Nintendo's family-friendly image, Sega chose a different identity, one that emphasized speed, attitude, and arcade-style action. That strategy would define Sega's biggest success. In 1989, Sega launched the Genesis, known as the Mega Drive outside North America. Backed by aggressive marketing campaigns like Sega does what Nintendo don't, the Genesis positions itself as the edgy alternative to Nintendo. This era gave birth to legendary franchises including Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, Altered Beast, and Golden Axe. Sega's willingness to push boundaries included uncensored versions of games like Mortal Kombat, helping it capture the teenage market. At its peak, Sega controlled over 60% of the US console market, a staggering achievement. But success came with growing pains. Instead of consolidating its success, Sega made a series of risky hardware decisions. Add-ons like Sega CD and 32X confused consumers and divided developers. Worse, internal power struggles between Sega of Japan and Sega of America created conflicting strategies and fractured leadership. The Sega Saturn, while powerful, launched early and without enough developer support. Its complex architecture made game development difficult, while Sony's PlayStation offered simpler tools and a stronger third-party relationship. Sega's momentum began to collapse. The Dreamcast was Sega's final console and arguably its most innovative. It featured built-in internet connectivity, online multiplayer, and a forward-thinking design. Games like Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi pushed creativity and technical boundaries. Critics and fans loved the system, but the damage had already been done. Consumers' trust were low, and Sony's PlayStation 2 dominated the market. In 2001, Sega officially exited the console business. Rather than disappearing, Sega reinvented itself as a third-party publisher. Today, Sega thrives by publishing across all platforms, revitalizing classic IP, investing in PC and mobile games, and acquiring successful studios. Modern hits like a Dragon, Persona, and Total War have earned Sega critical and commercial success. While Sonic remains a pop culture icon through games, movies, and merchandise, Sega may have lost the console wars, but it helped define what modern gaming looks like. Its willingness to experiment, even when it failed, pushed the industry forward. Few companies have influenced gaming culture as deeply as Sega. And even now, decades later, that iconic startup sound still means something.